Hey everyone, Kelly here from Kelly Chassis Fine Art. I just wanted to show you a quick little demo using black Sharpies and Chameleon pens as well as pencils. So you can see how these all kind of work together on here. So I'm going to grab the Sharpie first, and I'm just making a quick little line down here. And then I'm going to grab a Chameleon black pen and do the same thing with this. This one has a fine tip and a wider tip, so I really like these pens. They're very versatile. And then I'm also going to grab a pencil. This is just a regular mechanical pencil, and I'm doing this all on Yupo paper. And I just want you to be able to see what the inks do. If you're using this as either your drawing or using it to follow your painting, I want you to be able to see how these are going to work for you, with you, or against you. So let's go ahead first of all and try the Sharpie. So I've just got some alcohol ink, and we're just going to lay this right on top of the black Sharpie, and I'm going to use some brush work here just to see what it's going to do with the inks. So we'll give it a few seconds to kind of let it bloom over, and you can see where the line almost holds the inks right in place. It's just kind of interesting. So let's just go right ahead on that line of the Sharpie, and using a brush work here, you can see that that Sharpie line pretty much just blends right in with the alcohol. And that's because the pen itself is alcohol based. So not the best thing to use if you're going to do some outlining and you want to follow it as a tracing, but if you want to remove that black line and it's helpful, it would be a good thing. So let's go ahead and try it with the Chameleon. The inks tend to bloom over that line a little bit more than it did on the Sharpie. And you can see that that line is pretty much staying right there. It's blending maybe just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So that would be a good one if you didn't want to lose your line for your drawing. And let's go ahead and try the pencil. Of course, pencil is going to stay right there. And it almost looks like a black line with this darker color right over the top of it. So what I grabbed from this is that the black Sharpie blends, the Chameleon one blends slightly, but it does a better job, and then the pencil just stays right where it's at. And you are unable to erase that as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit of blue on top of this just to darken it, to see if this does anything more as far as darkening the line. If you add a few more colors to it, and again, that line is almost gone. It's not, you can't even see it anymore. Let's do the same thing over the Chameleon pen. And I can still see it. It's covered quite nicely though with that darker shade. And then with the pencil line here, again, very similar. I think once that dries, you'll still be able to see that line in there. So using a lighter shade, you obviously will be able to see it a lot more. If you're going to be using darker shades, you don't really have to worry about having that pen line shown. So let's let that dry a little bit, and I want to test that marker on top of it again once they're dry. And everyone knows it's on inks. This dries pretty quick. It's about 6 seconds, depending on how thick the paint is. And you can see where that Sharpie's going on there, but it doesn't want to work. It's kind of stuck a little bit. I'm just kind of working it a little bit, see if I can get the pen rolling. And let's try the Chameleon pen. Again, the ink's a little dry, but it's still a little tacky, so that pen wants to skip a little bit, so it's not real smooth on here. And let's try the pencil. Again, pencil, easy. Goes right over everything. So we're going to let that dry just a little bit more and see if that will make a difference for us. I also wanted to show you too, if you use a pencil on Yupo paper, just a regular number 2, I just wanted to test this out for you as well to see if you can actually erase using a polymer eraser. Definitely doesn't work with the rubber eraser here on the top, because all that does really is just kind of smear it almost, and you kind of get a little pink tint to your paper. So I would recommend using one of these polymer white erasers, and I got this one, I think it's Staples. That works a lot better. Of course, when you put pressure down with that pencil, you still mar that Yupo paper a little bit, so you can still kind of see that line. So if we were to put ink on top of this, sometimes just from the pressure of the pencil itself, you will still see a little mark underneath there. So it's always great to actually use either tracing paper or a projector for tracing out on Yupo paper. Not too bad, but I can see just a slight line or slight mark in there where that pencil line pushed down and just kind of indented that Yupo paper slightly. So let's go ahead and try this black Sharpie again now. So this is dried a lot longer, so it's lost its tackiness or its stickiness, so you can see this pen is working much better. And this is about 10 minutes later after I've let this dry a little bit. Let's go ahead and try the Chameleon Pen as well. And again, the same thing. This really does a much better job now at showing up on here after this is completely dried. That is completely dry on here as well. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more purple down here. And blend this in, make it a little bit darker. And now I'm going to try a white gel pen on this. So this is wet, and I just want you to see that the gel pen does not work when this is still wet. You can see some marks in there, but it pretty much turns purple. Now where it's dry on this blue one, it really shows up. So again, with most of the pens, it really is about making sure that that background is nice and dry, so it will show up. If you're finding that your gel pens really aren't showing up or they're turning colors, sometimes that can be because your ink is still slightly wet, so what it does is it tints your gel pen. So you can see here, this is still really wet, and this is not making any kind of marks at all. So let's go ahead and give that time to dry. And so now this is working a little bit better, but again, you can see where this is almost turning pink or light purple. And over here, it's staying quite white. It's not picking up that blue at all because that blue underneath is very dry. And I kind of keep working it here, testing it each time to see if it's still going to pick up some of that purple. So you can see here, the longer I let this dry, the better that white is popping out. So I hope this is helpful for you. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you find these demo videos helpful. And don't forget to check out my online courses at www.kellychasseyfineart.com, where I have watercolor classes as well as alcohol ink classes. And they're step-by-step, very easy for beginners. Anybody can do it. And I hope to see you on there. Thanks so much. Have a good one.